If you have a question for Dr. Donna, please do leave it on my page and I will be happy to answer the question for you. Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking with Dr. Donna. I am your host, Dr. Donna White-Carey. Thank you again for keeping your appointment. You know, we are here every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. live talking about a whole bunch of stuff. So we are going to start out the new year by first saying, Happy New Year, everybody. We made it into 2022. So thank you for helping us to continue to do what we do here on Talking with Dr. Donna. You've made it. Hopefully you've made it healthy. And hopefully, as you're looking forward to 2022, I'm looking forward to us really buckling down and getting ourselves out of this pandemic. I hope you're looking forward to that too. So, as usual, if you are not already a subscriber to my channel, I would love if you would go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Yes, if there's any great information that you get out of my show tonight or any other time, I would love for you to subscribe. Hit that bell icon so that you know when I go live every Thursday. And then I'd love for you to share it. Tell a friend, educate someone else around you who might be trying to find out information about coronavirus or life. But you know, our real goal here on Talking with Dr. Donna is to build a network of generational health. That means that we're starting with you, whatever generation you are in, to be able to deal with our spiritual health, our emotional and mental health, our physical health, and our environmental health. And if we deal with those four pillars, I'm convinced, no one can tell me any differently, I'm convinced that if we really pay attention and deal with these four pillars of health, that we can end the cycle of premature death in the African American community. That's our goal here on Talking with Dr. Donna. So, thank you again for being a part of the Generational Health Network. If you're a subscriber, you're a part of the network. And I'm hoping that you're sharing this with your family and your friends. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. Remember, we're live. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. I will make sure to get to them during this time. So hello, Lady Emery, Sharice, I see you out there. Victoria, good evening. So let me know if you have any questions. And if you want to just say hi, I'd love to see you say hi as well. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Elisita. Hope you're feeling better this evening, Elisita. All right, so let's start with some of the things that you need to know. So much information and so many things have happened over the last couple of weeks that we were taking a break for the new year. And now that we're back, so much stuff is happening. So the first thing that you need to know that we're going to talk about tonight is immunity, because that is a hot topic, right? Whether or not when you're vaccinated, what does that do to your immune system? How does that help with your immunity? If you've had COVID already, do I still need to get vaccinated? Am I immune? Am I super immune if I have already had the virus? So let's talk about that because it's really important for people to know. Number one, you have super immunity only, and this is, you know, we make all these catchphrases in medicine and science, and people take it like completely literally, but you're not ever going to be super immune to anything, okay? Let's just say that. But you will have better immunity if you had the combination, if you've had COVID, the combination of you having COVID, your natural immunity, right? So let's back up. There's different types of immunity, right? There's your natural immunity. That comes from when you get infected with a particular virus, and then your immune system does its job, right? That means it starts to, we talked about our immune system, right? That's our arsenal, that's our soldiers, that's our army. Our immune system, when you get sick with any particular type of virus or bacteria or any kind of disease, your immune system automatically revs up and starts to build immunity, starts to try to kill whatever is in your body that is foreign, that your body doesn't like and doesn't want in, because it's unhealthy for you. Your body will start, your immune system will rise up and start to work. That's natural. Comes for people who have had coronavirus. You had coronavirus and your immune cells started to work to fight off that coronavirus. Then there is the vaccine immunity, right? So the vaccine immunity is immunity that you get because we gave you a vaccine that tricked your body, your immune system, into fighting off as if you had the infection. So remember, in our vaccines, there is no coronavirus in the vaccine. But what is in the vaccine is that your vaccine tells your body to make the proteins that we see on the surface of coronavirus that is foreign to your body. And then your immune system says, hey, wait a minute, what is that? Those things are not like us. Let's attack it. Let's kill it. Let's get rid of it. That is the vaccine immunity. So you have the natural immunity and the vaccine immunity. So how you get to this super immunity, right? If you get coronavirus, okay? If you get coronavirus and you don't get vaccinated, then you are twice as likely to get reinfected with coronavirus. Now remember, as we started out with this virus almost 2 years ago, we had an alpha strain and a beta strain. Now we have a delta strain and an Omicron strain and then a new H strain, right? All these strains are still the coronavirus, but they're all cousins of one another, right? So they are different mutations. And so that means that the natural immunity that you had from coronavirus is to that particular variant and slightly to any other cousin, but it's not super specific. So that if another variant comes along and you had coronavirus with the alpha variant, and now the Omicron variant is the most common variant, and you can have 2 times the risk of getting reinfected if you just use your natural immunity from having coronavirus. Now let's say what happens if you have that natural immunity, you had coronavirus, you add the vaccine. So you have your natural immunity plus the vaccine immunity. Well, now you're cooking with grease. Now you're getting to what we're calling perhaps this super immunity is the combination of having had coronavirus plus having the vaccine. So the answer to the question of should I get the vaccine if I already had coronavirus is a resounding yes. Get it? Yes. If you've already had the virus, you should still get vaccinated. Now, when should you get vaccinated? That's always the next question. Should I get vaccinated if I'm asymptomatic and I test positive? Should I just go ahead and get my vaccine? Or if I have coronavirus and I'm mildly ill, how long should I wait before I get vaccinated? Well, we were saying at the beginning that if you should wait about 3 months because you had this natural immunity, right, from the coronavirus. So now, though, we're kind of rethinking that and saying, well, maybe you should go ahead and get that vaccine right after you're sort of feeling well, like you don't have any symptoms. Maybe you should get the vaccine at that point, right? Because you'll get this super immunity, right? You'll have your natural immunity at its peak, and then you add that with the vaccine immunity, and bam, you are great. So, more to come on the actual time of when you should get that vaccine, but consider it. Talk to your doctor and say, hey, I've had coronavirus, I'm feeling well. When do you think it's good for me to get this vaccine? All right? That is immunity, super immunity, natural immunity, vaccine immunity, okay? All right, let's go to our second need to know. Our second need to know is we're going to talk about masks, because there's been a whole lot about masking. Let me pause here because I see a question. How soon after you have the virus can you get the booster? I would say you should wait until you no longer have symptoms and that you're feeling well. Then you should get your booster. If you're vaccinated and it's been more than 6 months, right? Now we're saying even 4 months, so somewhere between 4 and 6 months since your second dose of your vaccine, then you're eligible for a booster. If during that time period you got infected with coronavirus, then you want to wait again till you no longer have symptoms to think about getting that booster shot. All right, hope that answers your question. All right, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I will be checking, trying to make sure that I'm getting everything that you guys need. All right, so masks. Let's talk about masks. Masks are important, right? We have to go back to how we were in the very beginning. We're really understanding masking, and understanding its use in the prevention of the spread of coronavirus and the protection of you from getting coronavirus, right? Many, many different types of masks. And so what's the best mask? And why are you so worried about masks? And how do you know if it's a good mask for you? So there's two real things you need to take into consideration when you are choosing a mask. First is you want a mask with a good fit, okay? That is so important. When in the hospital, when we use masks, we actually get sized for our N95 mask. So we know exactly which mask to put on our face that prevents any particles from coming in on the sides or underneath the chin or over the nose. So we're sized. But the masks that we have in just the general population they're just regular one-size-fits-all masks. And so we know that everyone's face is different. The size of the face, the shape of the face is all different. So how do you choose a mask? So you want a mask that fits well. Then the second thing that you want to review with your mask is you want to make sure that it is actually a good mask, that it actually filters out coronavirus particles from being able to come in and infect you. So you want a good filtration mask. And so the best masks that we have available to us are N95s or K95s. Those masks filter 95% of particles that are in the air and including coronavirus. Surgical masks are also your second best for filtration. If you want to increase the filtration of any type of mask that you have, you can double mask, okay? So, but before we do that, let's talk about masking, okay? So here we go. I have 3 masks here. I have a surgical mask, I have a standard N95 mask, and I have a cloth mask, but this cloth mask actually has a filter inside. So this filter is great because even though this cloth mask alone really provides no protection, when I add a little filter into the pocket, now I bought the mask, of course, with the pocket, has the pocket to go into the mask, then that is going to actually increase my filtration and make my mask better. So let's talk about the fit. So if you do a surgical mask, now I have a kind of a long, narrow face, so masks are kind of difficult sometimes for me to fit. So if I put my surgical mask on, now when I breathe, you guys can't see this, but I can. When I breathe, I can see my glasses fogging up. That means that it's not a tight fit over my nose. So I squeeze that little silver area there and I tighten that up. Now when I breathe, I don't see it fogging up my glasses, which means that it's fitting well and protecting myself from coming in through the nose. But then when I look, if you look on the side, I have quite a bit of space here because again, I have kind of a narrow face. There's a couple of things that you can do to help to tighten up that mask. The first thing is, you see these loops? I can kind of twist them like this and put it back on my face. Much tighter. You see that? Much tighter. That made it tight on my face. And now I have it tight on my face and chin, and pulling it up, pinching it, I have it tight on my nose. This is a great mask. Now it's fitting properly and it's a surgical mask, so it has good filtration. Now, if I want to make it even more effective and prevent me from getting sick, I put a cloth mask over it. In addition to making sure that I'm protected, I'm also cute. You got to be cute, right? So you can have a double mask, a cloth mask over a surgical mask. That helps with the filtration and also helps with the fit, okay? So you can twist these ear loops to help with the fit on a surgical mask or any of the other types of masks so that it fits onto your face a little bit better. Now let's do the N95 masks. Now, N95, K95 masks are the same. The K95 mask really is designed just a little bit different than the N95 mask. And some people feel like the K95 mask is a little bit more comfortable. Both of them are filtering 95%, so they're both great masks to have. Again, you'll want to think about fit and filtration. So the filtering of the 95%, perfect, but how does it fit? So again, on my N95 mask, I have the one that has the 2 strings. You want to do one. They're not as cute, right? One up high, one down low. That gives me a good fit. I'm here pinching my nose, fitting over my nose and my mouth and my chin, nice and tight. Now, I don't need to, but this is like totally messing up my vibe. This is not cute, right? So what I always do is, again, put a cloth mask over so you can be cute and protected when you're out here in this world, everybody, okay? So that is the masking. Fit and filtration, okay? So if you don't have an N95 or a K95 mask, then and you only have a cloth mask, it's best to double mask because cloth mask alone is not good enough. If you have a surgical mask and you want to increase to filtration to be almost as good as this N95 mask, you'll use the surgical mask and then also use a cloth mask. But right now, with Omicron being so transmissible, meaning that it jumps from person to person so easily, what we're recommending is that you really consider double masking so that you can make sure that you are safe. All right. So we've got our masks, best mask. We know that our mask mandate has been extended. Like, no duh, it should have been extended. And so I'm glad the California Department of Public Health did not end it in January as it was expected. But through February, you need to wear a mask. And they're saying wear your mask both indoors all the time, unless you're eating or drinking. And really, I want to encourage you to eat and drink and not kind of hang out and socialize. We kind of got to lax, right? Because COVID wasn't infecting a whole lot of people. We started sitting at the dinner table, you know, taking half hour, 1 hour with our masks off. We can't do that anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to eat and put our masks back on because Omicron is jumping from person to person so easily that you want to protect yourself. All right, so mask mandate indoors and outdoors. I say the same thing. If you're outdoors, wear that mask. It's less likely for you to get it, but with this new Omicron variant, even outdoors is probably not safe for you to be without a mask on. All right, so wear your mask, fit, filtration, and wear it everywhere you go. All right. The third thing that I want to talk about tonight with our need to know, actually it's our fifth because second, third, and fourth were masks. Our last thing we want to talk about tonight of need to know is schools. Now, oh my goodness. Schools and kids and returning to schools and what should we do? With the Omicron variant, we're definitely seeing an increase in the number of cases in our school-age children and our teenagers in our high schools. We're starting to back off once again of sports. We're starting to back off once again of activities because of how easy it is to spread. We know that our kids are, again, not immune to spreading coronavirus or even getting coronavirus. So many schools are having conversations now. I actually sit on the COVID task force for my son's school, and we're talking about it tomorrow. what are we going to do? What do we need to do in order to help keep our schools safe, not just for the kids, but also for the teachers and the staff? You've probably seen on the news that there's a lot of sort of, what are they calling them? Sick outs. The teachers and the staffs not being at school to say, hey, we really don't want to be here because it's not safe. And I wish it was just that easy. I wish it was just as cut and dry as to say it's about safety, and if the kids are, cases are increasing and it's spreading in classrooms and classes are closing down, that we should close down schools. But again, it's not that simple, because we know that the flip side of kids not being in school is that they're home. And when they're home, there's challenges that we saw last year, right, of having our kids at home, making sure that their parents are able to be home with them. Most of us, we work. We have young kids. How are you supposed to work, take care of your household, and make enough income when your kids are home and you have to be home? So you got to think about the financial impact. Then you have to think about the learning impact of our students. I don't know if a lot of you out there had kids who came home and you did homeschooling for them, but I'm telling you, they didn't learn. They did not learn. I was at work, even though I worked from home, 9 to 5, I'm working. My husband is working. So the amount of learning that our kids received in that entire year was pretty minimal. I'm going to say that. And a number of our kids fell behind. And now that's going to continue. So we got to think about the educational aspect of our kids. We also have to think about the digital divide. That is still present today. Not every single household has one computer or 2 computers or 3 computers. What if you have 3 kids who are in school? Do you have 3 computers sitting around your house so that every child is able to be online? And so you have to think about these things and not just think about it in terms of safety, but you also have to think about safety for the kids, learning for the kids, and how are you able to do that? So it's really a complicated issue. While we're in school, there's lots of things that we can do to help make the school system safer, to make it safer for our kids and safer for our parents, like testing. Now, the problem with testing is we don't have a lot of tests. And even if we can test, labs are backlogged, so we don't get results for 2, 3, 4 days. So we got to tighten up those systems. We have to tighten up testing, and we have to tighten up the results of those tests coming back sooner. So it's complicated. We're going to be talking about this because we know that we are going to see cases surging. They're already surging. And now that kids are back in school from Christmas break, in a couple of weeks, we're probably going to see a major surge. So we are thinking about it. We are trying to make sure that we make the best decision for all involved. No one wants anyone to be sick. No one wants our kids to be sick, but we got to think about it holistically, not just in one area. So stay tuned. Let me know if you have any thoughts about schools and when your kids returning to schools. Let me know if you have school-age children. Are you planning on sending your kids back to school? I sent my kids back to school. I did get them tested, and then we returned to school. And I just had really good conversations, particularly with my son who's 10. Really good conversations about keeping your mask on, not pulling your mask away from your face when you want to talk. When you're eating lunch, like go try to find like just maybe 5 minutes away from everyone, eat your lunch, and then come back and socialize. So there's some things and strategies that we need to talk to. My daughter, who's 14, who actually has many friends who have coronavirus or have had it over these last 2 weeks. So we know it's really spreading. Talking to her about, kids, especially girls, teenage girls are very huggy and close and want to sit next to each other and talk with each other. No, you can't do that during this day and age. So I think conversations with your kids is the first place to start. And then conversations and making sure that they have a great mask, a good mask, that it fits well, and that it has good filtration, right? So the masking and the conversations need to happen. All right, let's go to see if there's any questions on here. Let's see. Yes, agreement that lots of kids fell behind. What do you suggest for people who have beards on the mask? Same thing. Got to have a good fit. Now, you're not going to be able to have your beard, because of your beard, your mask isn't going to go completely straight onto your jawbone, but you want to get it as close to that as possible, right? So again, twisting those loops if you need to get a tighter fit. Double masking, so maybe that first mask has a little bit of looseness to it, but you put a cloth mask over, you can tie it tighter, and that will give you some extra protection. Hey everybody, thank you. Glad you are enjoying the information. I'm considering keeping your child home because she's high risk and has asthma. Yeah, I think that, every parent is going to have to take into consideration their ability to stay home with their kids and their children's risk. If your child is an asthmatic or a fragile asthmatic or has any sort of immune compromised disorder, you want to think about, should you send your kid to school? You know that it's out there. You know that coronavirus is infecting people. So make those choices, have conversations, right? Remember, your child's doctor and your doctor is a part of your dream team, right? So that means that you can contact them and ask them what they think. If you have a hard time reaching your doctor doesn't call you back, your doctor doesn't answer emails, all of that, your doctor needs to be benched because that's not somebody on your dream team, right? So this is the time when you want to talk to your doctors and really try to get some information to help you make the best decision for you and your family. Okay? Great. So speaking of coronavirus, let's talk a little bit about where we are. And I want to show you something because I've had lots of conversations with people who've been asking about what's going on with coronavirus and what's the big deal since this new Omicron variant is proving to be milder than the Delta variant, right? With the Delta variant, lots of people were getting sick. They were going to the hospital. They were dying. With the Omicron, lots of people are getting infected, but they're pretty mild symptoms, not hearing a whole lot of increase in hospitalizations. So I want you to look at this picture here. And I want you to see in the middle of your screen, you'll see January 2021. So that's where we were last year, those peaks, these peaks here. That's how many cases we had in January of last year. Then our cases went down. I feel like I'm on that sports show, ESPN, I watch, and Kenny runs to the ones here and says, hey, look, let me show you. All right, so right here, we have the cases. Yeah, see, husband, I watched when you were watching ESPN. So we have the cases here in January really high. Then our cases dropped. And look, here we are, January 2022, way up here. Even higher than we were a year ago. That's because Omicron is so transmissible. I probably know about 30 people in this past week who have tested positive for, actually I'll add two more. This morning I got a phone call, who are testing positive for coronavirus. So we're definitely seeing more cases. The good news, like I said, is that the cases are milder. So we're not seeing a lot of people going to the hospital, and we're not seeing a lot of people dying, right? So again, the hospitalizations, January of 2021, off the chart for that Delta variant. Then we went down and we got a little peak in October, and here we are in January. Not where we are, probably like half of the cases that we have right now are hospitalizations from coronavirus. So what's the big deal then, Dr. Donna? I could go ahead and get coronavirus, get my natural immunity popping, and then I could get the vaccine, and then I'll be super immune. Here's the problem with that thought process. The issue with this coronavirus that we've been saying from the very beginning, the reason why we are really trying to prevent people from getting this coronavirus, even if it's mild, is that we don't know the long-term impact of this particular coronavirus. It's not like the other coronaviruses that we've had circulating in our community where you get it and you're done with it. This particular cousin is total. I've said it in the very beginning. I've always said it. This cousin is ratchet. This cousin is unpredictable, and we don't know. So we don't know the long-term impacts of getting coronavirus. Studies have shown this particular strain of coronavirus goes into your brain cells and goes into your gut cells, and it just sits there, stays there. Do we know what it's waiting for? Nope. Do we know if it is going to reactivate like we do with, shingles? You have chickenpox as a child, and for some reason, some folks get shingles as adults. Do we think that coronavirus 20 years later, for those who actually were sick with it, if it's going to reactivate and give you a similar disease? We don't know. We do know from our studies that, and seeing this for the last 2 years, that people who have had COVID have long COVID, right? We know months afterwards, they're still dealing with kind of what we call brain fog, where their thoughts are not as clear. They just can't remember like they used to. We're seeing people who had COVID and then long haul COVID have issues with, all of a sudden, they start having the same symptoms that they had when they were first sick, and it's been 6 months. Reactivation in their colon from diarrhea and having diarrhea and vomiting. So we don't know, we really don't know what this virus is capable of doing down the road. And that's why, even though right now your symptoms may be mild and you may get over the virus and it's not a big deal, this is why we don't want you to get it, because we don't know the long-term impacts of getting this disease. So don't let anybody fool you into saying, well, it's mild, it's okay, because it's really, we're not sure if it's okay. And I would rather err on the side of being safe than sorry. So please wear your mask, make sure it has a good fit and good filtration, social distance, hand washing, paying attention to your environments. All of these things that we've been talking about for the last 2 years, gotta bring them back. You gotta be diligent again. We don't have the luxury of being lax right now during this time. All right, so I'm gonna go to see if there is any other questions here before we go to our food of the month. Let's see, when you double mask, you put the cloth one over the other mask. Is there a preferred order of placement? Great question. So I would say that you want to put the filtered mask on over your face, because that's like your last defense. You want to make sure that it protects you. So I'd put the higher filtered mask on closest to you, and then the cloth mask over that. So like I demonstrated, surgical mask on first, followed by the cloth mask, or N95 mask on first, followed by a cloth mask. Okay? All right. That's it for the things that you need to know. Now let's talk about our food of the month. You know, Dr. Donna on this show, Talking with Dr. Donna, we're really paying attention to our diet for this season. We have had a food of the month since we started back in August. So we had kale, then we did squash, then last month we did cranberries, and this month our food of the month is, drumroll, apples. Yay! An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I know you guys all know that. So apples, so that's our food of the month this month. Really, really great things with our apples. Lots of fiber, right? Dr. Peterson would be excited and happy for us to get some fiber into our diets. It really continues to promote good gut health. Vitamin C, so it has lots of vitamin C. It also is an anti-inflammatory. And you may remember, because I talk about this a lot, but there are lots of diseases caused because of inflammation in our body. Asthma, diabetes, heart disease, all of these stem from having inflammation. So apples, as an anti-inflammatory, stops inflammation, is a good anti-inflammatory. Helps to decrease heart disease, helps to decrease the risk of diabetes. Good good stuff. And it helps to promote the good bacteria in your gut, right? The good bacteria in your gut helps to protect your gut lining and helps to make sure it keeps you regular and keep you healthy. That bad gut is the stuff that talks to you in the middle of the night that tells you to go eat that Snicker bar, Dr. Donna. It's in the refrigerator on the shelf. Go get it, because we bad bacteria want some sugar. That's the stuff you want to flush out. So when you feel like you want to have something sweet this month, choose an apple. All different types of apple. Choose an apple. Again, as always, make sure you post on our pages. If you can put on my handles back up there. Post on my pages if you have some great recipes that you're using with apples, chopping them up in salads, cooking them and adding them to foods. Let us know. How do you eat your apple? How do you cook your apples so that we can get creative with our recipes and how we eat so that we can eat well and have fun and be creative. All right. That is my show for tonight. Thank you once again for keeping your appointment with Dr. Donna. It's always great to see you all out there. Lola, which apples are better? They're all great. Choose the one that you like. Green apples, red apple, Fuji apple, pink lady apple, Honey Crisp, whatever you like. All apples have great benefits to them. All right. So again, thank you again for keeping your appointment. You have an appointment with your doctor every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Make sure that you stay healthy and well until we see each other next week. Take care, and thanks for watching. If you have a question for Dr. Donna, please do leave it on my page and I will be happy to answer the question for you.